Welcome back. New this morning, Reuters is reporting that the IRGC is threatening neighboring Gulf countries, saying, quote, restraint is over, as it claims it will target U.S. infrastructure in those regions while disrupting and threatening to disrupt regional oil and gas supplies for years. It comes as President Trump reasserts his deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern tonight for Tehran to strike a deal and reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face the destruction of all of Iran's bridges and power plants. Now, the president says the U.S. is in communication with Tehran, but Tehran is rejecting, according to reports, a proposal for a 45-day ceasefire. Instead, it is offering a 10-point plan that demands an immediate end to this conflict. It demands safe passage through the Gulf and reconstruction and lifting of sanctions. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And before we get to Cuba, I want to get your take on where we are in this war in Iran.
Look, I think that we have to finish the job. Simply, Iran has demonstrated to the world why a nuclear-armed Iran is an untenable Iran. Look what they're doing to the Strait of Hormuz. Look how they're threatening all their neighbors right now. Can you imagine if they had a nuclear weapon and they'd feel invulnerable? So, no, the president has to follow through with his threats, and also we need to finish it off, and this regime has to go. And so, I support what the president is doing. We just need to press forward because, look, Iran is like a cancer. And sometimes the cure to cancer hurts, but the cancer has to be eliminated. And that cancer is Iran. Yeah.
Liz, this is exactly what you said earlier. Jack Keane said it, the general. The U.S. should not get bullied by these mullahs and finish this job.
Yeah, I mean, we cannot leave Iran after all that has been done and after accomplishing unbelievable military success with the United States and the entire developed world vulnerable still to this regime. I think you're totally right.
Congressman, I want to get your take on what comes next, in particular the president's request for $1.5 trillion defense spending as part of the fiscal 2027 budget. That's a nearly 40% increase from 2026 levels. This would include roughly $1 trillion in base defense funding, $350 billion in mandatory funding for munitions and industrial capacity. It also maintains funding for the Golden Dome missile defense system using space-based technology. It's also going to cut billions from from domestic programs, including a proposal to cut 10% in non-defense discretionary spending, including agencies such as NASA, the State Department, the EPA. What does that look like? Do you support this plan, and how does this play out?
I got to look at the details. I sit on Armed Services Committee. That's a pretty heavy lift. I mean, 1.5 trillion. It was pretty hard for us to get to 1 trillion. I do agree that we need to spend more on defense, and whatever it takes for us to protect America, that's what we need to spend. But I think it's going to be tough to get to 1.5 trillion. It'll be some increases in spending, but I'm not sure we're going to get to 1.5.
I see. So what is an appropriate number from your standpoint?
About 1.2, 2.5, something like that. And then what else is going to get cut? Remember, look, discretionary funding, non-discretionary funding is about 70% of our funding. Discretionary funding is 30%, and of that, 70% is already, our defense budget. So, there's really not much there, to squeeze out. So as much as we can squeeze out, we will. But, this is going to be a give and take. And also remember, we got to deal with the Senate. And the Senate isn't controlled entirely by Republicans. You have the filibuster, et cetera. And so in order to get an appropriations done, also, we have to get it by the Senate, and I'm not sure that we're going to get to 1.5 with the Senate.
And what about DHS? I know that you and your colleagues have been trying to end the longest partial government shutdown in the U.S. history. The DHS, Department of Homeland Security, still closed now, entering a 53rd day closed. Lawmakers have called on the Speaker to bring the House back. But I just spoke with one of your colleagues, North Carolina Congressman Pat Harrigan. He said, we're not coming back. Watch this. Some lawmakers are calling on the Speaker to bring the lower chamber back from recess. Are you going to come back?
I don't think that we're going to come back from recess. I've talked to our leadership about this. And look, we have to just continue to make it crystal clear that it's unbelievably irresponsible how the Democrats are handling this situation. They are truly choosing politics when they actually need to choose closing strategic gaps that we have in our nation's security right here at home. Why on earth we are defunding the government agency that's actually responsible for combating terrorism on our homeland after 4 years of open borders is indescribable.
Yeah, I wonder if voters are going to remember how irresponsible your colleagues, the Democrats, are keeping the DHS shut down during a war, sir.
I'm not sure they are. I mean, usually it's the Republicans that get blamed for everything, so we'll see how this goes. But look, right now the ball is in the Senate's hands, and so they've sent over a partial funding, which does not include ICE and does not include Customs and Border Protection. But the second part of that plan is a reconciliation bill that does include all that funding, and I would hope additional funding, let's say, to find all the missing children that we lost under the Biden administration. And if you can do that, and if you can do that in a hurry, then we can get DHS funded fully for the next fiscal year. But ICE and CBP actually can get funded throughout the term of President Trump, so we don't have to have this fight next year. So really, the ball is in the Senate's hands, and I hope that the Senate would get work on that reconciliation bill, and then we can get those two bills passed, and then we can put this behind us.
And do you think you'll be able to have that reconciliation bill on President Trump's desk by June 1st?
That's up to the Senate. I mean, as hard as they work. I mean, they're the ones that said that they would do the reconciliation. Go ahead and do it and pass it to us. Give us the two bills, and I'm sure that we can get enough votes to pass both of them. And then get this fight over with once and for all.
Meanwhile, let's talk Cuba. 2 Democrat lawmakers visiting Cuba last week, your colleagues, the first trip since President Trump's oil blockade. They claimed they wanted to see, quote, the suffering on the ground from what they call, quote, an illegal energy embargo, unquote. They're urging the president to, quote, bring the rhetoric down. Now, Cuba is easing blackout-driven shortages by ramping up solar imports from China, entered China again. Beijing supplying 1 gigawatt of converted light panels last year, pledging more support as the island targets 15% renewable power by 2026, Congressman. How do you see all of this?
Look, the infrastructure itself is shot, and so they can bring all the power that they want. The distribution network is shot. They haven't done anything in like 60 years. What I find ironic, instead of saying, hey, the one way to really end the suffering of the Cuban people is for this regime to go, but no, all they do is they go there. And look, every regime that's an enemy of the United States, they love. They love Maduro, and so now they go to Diaz-Canel. They love him, too, and they blame the United States. It's the regimes. They're communists and socialists. Those socialist communist regimes don't work, and they oppress their people. How about calling for the regime to change instead of us to change?
Well, I like what President Trump said yesterday about the hundreds of millions of barrels of oil that we've taken out of Cuba. What's the big opportunity here for Cuba, sir?
Big opportunity is for Cuba to become, once again, the jewel of the Caribbean, like they were in 1959. They had the second highest standard of living in the world. And what happened? Communism happened. Oppression happened. And so this regime has to go. They can we can get a new Cuba that'll be free, democratic, and a prosperous Cuba fairly quickly if they just change their ways and get rid of this regime. What
a beautiful thing that would be. Congressman, it's good to see you, as always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Carlos Gimenez is in Florida. We'll be right back.